Hey Zoe, how you doing?
I'm fine, thanks, Emma. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Welcome to the Crossroads Cafe podcast, and thank you so
Good.
much for being here.
Thank you for asking me. Thank you.
No, it's lovely. I speak to some amazing women every week. I come off every single podcast inspired, having learned something, um, and just looking forward to the next one. So love it that you're
Brilliant.
here. The reason we created this podcast, reason I've created the podcast, I'm all about trying to inspire other women.
Yeah.
We called it Crossroads Cafe for the pure fact that there's so many times, even in, whether you're running a business or not, whether you're a mum, a woman, whatever it is that you may be doing, where we hit a bit of a crossroads. And I want you to talk about this today, because I know this has happened for you recently, but we hit a bit of a crossroads and we can sometimes struggle to move past it. But we learn from everybody else, don't we? So I think if we can share that information and we can understand how other people have got past their issues, their problems. Primarily, we have a lot of women that come to us that are at a crossroads in their career. They want to change, they want to start a business, they want to move from one, industry to another. So we're there to really sort of inspire them and help them build that courage and belief so they go after their goals. So your business is reflexology. Tell us a little bit about your business and how you started out.
Okay, so it's relaxing reflexology, and I'm a reflexology practitioner, and I specialise predominantly in fertility and women's health. And I've set up my business in 2015, and I qualified in 2013. So how it all came about, at the time, I've worked up until reflexology, I've worked in travel all my life. So I've got 30 odd years in various different roles, sales, customer service, and I had a stint in travel recruitment.
Right.
And I was a little bit unhappy in recruitment. I'm a heart on your sleeve girl. I wear my heart on my sleeve, and sometimes you have to look. Can be quite cutthroat.
Yes.
And I wasn't terribly happy, and I went to a pamper evening with some friends, and the lady there, she was a massage therapist. She could do facials and reflexology, and I thought, I've only had reflexology once, and I had it done in Singapore, and I honestly thought my toes were going to come off. They pulled them that hard. Please be assured it's not like that at all. So I thought, well, I'll give reflexology a go. So I sat on the couch, and she started working on my feet, and within kind of minutes she said, you've got a problem with your lower back, haven't you? And I thought, oh my word. And then she sort of said, she also said, and you've got some kind of, do you have really painful periods? And I said, well, yeah, I have endometriosis. And and you've got something. And I was just blown away. I just thought, how on earth do you know this? How? And so I talked to her. I said, well, how do you know? And she said, well, there are reflex points all over your feet that represent organs or areas of your body, and I can feel that there's something just not quite right in that particular area. So I thought, I want to explore more. So I booked a whole session with her on the Saturday morning, I think. And so she took, and I wanted to know how she trained, and a bit of a similar story. She'd gone to a reflexology practitioner herself. They'd identified something in her bladder. She'd gone to the doctor. Turned out it was actually bladder cancer.
Oh my goodness.
So she had kind of quite a light bulb moment, and just thought, this is amazing, and I also want to retrain. So I was driving home, and I just had a light bulb moment and thought, oh my God, I can retrain. I can learn a different career. So I went home, Googled, reflexology courses.
As you do.
At the time I lived in Altrincham. Yeah, I lived up in Altrincham then. So by 2:00 the next day, I was enrolled on a year-long course at South Trafford College. So I went along, paid my money, and then I started in September, and it was a year-long course. Had to do 100 hours of case studies, and qualified with distinction. So, and I just thought, this is just lovely. And then I'd actually got a different job in travel. And so for a while, the company that I worked for were just lovely. And they just said, look, this would help us out if you stay for a little bit longer, but only kind of work part-time every day. So I went to Great Days 8 till 12, did my account manager role, and then came home and put I've started a new business hat on, and just thought, and rapidly found out that it's not just a reflexology practitioner, you're a marketing director, you're a business development manager,
there's a lot going
you're
on.
an accountant, you're
Yeah.
an admin person, you know, you're
Yeah.
a social media expert.
Yeah.
And so it was lots of balancing, spinning plates.
Yeah.
But by February, I just thought I'd built up enough clients, and I just thought I'm just going to have to take the plunge.
Yes.
So I just said to Great Days, it's time for me to kind of, you know, to go. So yeah, just set up, and then there's always, I mean, in any job, there's always training and CPD to do, and then I just decided to kind of try and go down the women's health route. So decided to do the amazing course with Barbara Scott, so qualified in fertility.
Yes.
And she also has a menopause course as well. So I've done her menopause course, and maternity, and lymph drainage, which is just a truly, sounds cheesy, but it's a truly life-changing treatment, especially for ladies who've had breast cancer. So it really helps them with the fluid that can build up
that's my mum.
under their arms, or if you have got. Oh, okay. Well,
just recently,
tell her to come and see me.
Yeah, no,
oh,
literally,
right, okay.
This year, that was a huge crossroads for me.
Wow.
Like, that smacked me in the face just through the sheer worry. But
yeah,
that's very interesting.
Yeah.
I'm loving what you're saying,
it's
Zoe.
It's an amazing treatment.
We've got a slight delay in our. Can you hear it a little bit? So I'm going to. I'll slow down a little bit. What I wanted to say, Zoe, in what you've just said, when it comes to us transitioning, or if we're in a position, we're in a job, we're employed, whatever, and we're feeling like that, and I hear from so many women that are really feeling like that at the moment, and they don't know where to start. The first comment that I get when I have conversations with these women is, but what do? I don't know what I want to do. And I think it's really, I find it quite just overwhelming, and really sort of inspiring, in the sense I honestly think our life is always talking to us. It's like there's opportunities that come our way, no different with you and going to this party and this reflexology lady being there. It's like sometimes you just have to trust that it's gonna all work out for you. I mean, obviously you have to take action and put things in place. Had you not have gone home that day and Googled it and taken action, you may not be sat here doing what you're doing today, doing something that you absolutely love. But I do think there is a hidden sort of, I don't know, that there's something hidden within us that's trying to talk to us and tell us what steps to take. We just need to be a bit open-minded and see things as opportunities, and look at it in that way, as yes, we can transition, you can make a change. If you don't know what you want to do, have a think about maybe what it is that you need, because the chances are if you need it, other people might need it as well, and it's something that you could then help to serve the community or the world or whatever it may be. Absolutely. So I find it so inspiring. Every time I speak to businesswomen each week, a lot of what they're doing because it's something that they've overcome, or it's something that a product maybe that they've used that they found just to be brilliant, and they've created something similar, or a hurdle that they've overcome, a challenge that they've faced, and how they've got past it, and they're sharing that with other people, which is amazing.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that you're absolutely right. I think sometimes you've just got to trust yourself, and just, you're at work for a very long time to be unhappy. To come home and just think, oh, it was another rubbish day, and it just affects your whole mood and your whole mindset. And if you're kind of, it's a long time to that, and then that rubs off people's. If you come home and you're fed up and you're miserable, and that then affects the house and the home and who's in it, and how your body language, even going shopping, just becoming sort of like slumped. And it's a long time to just think, I'm really unhappy. But sometimes you just got to sit down and go, right, come on then, be brave. Definitely. What do I like doing? What am I good at? Everybody has transferable skills, everybody.
Definitely.
And sometimes it's just a simple thing as just getting a piece of paper out and being brave to just go, right, let's make a list. what do I love doing? What do I enjoy? What gives me pleasure? What makes me smile?
What
And
makes me feel good?
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, we all want to feel good. And so
Yes.
many, again, women that I speak to, there's always this delay. I'll do it when the kids are grown up, or I'll do it when, I don't know, I've sorted this out, or I'll do it when I've overcome this. Tomorrow never comes. There'll always be a reason, won't there? There'll always be a reason as to why you can't take action at that moment in time. Always. It's just a case of going, okay, I'm really not happy with where I'm at. Like you say, make a list. Why aren't I happy? What are the things I hate about what I'm doing, and what are the things that I love? Because like you said perfectly, there's always transferable skills that you can take from where you are now and move it towards, to, you know, build some kind of a roadmap to where it is that you want to go and get there.
Absolutely.
Courage and belief, two really key points. So Zoe, I just want to ask you, before we talk a little bit more about your business, I just want to have a quick chat with you, because I know you've overcome a massive challenge just recently, and this is while you're in the throes of your business. Tell us what happened and how you sort of got past it or moved through it.
So I suppose kind of a couple of challenges. So in January, way back last September, we decided to move. So in January, we moved down to Devon. So that's kind of 270 miles from where we were. So that was quite a challenge, you know, come down and left. Well, I worked in 3 clinics, so I had 3 sort of successful practices. I had waiting lists, and I've come down here. Nobody knows me. So I've had to start the business again from scratch, really. So that's fine. I don't mind that. And it was going well. I've got a lovely room at the hen house, and was getting some clients built up, and it was fine. Everything was ticking along. And then in May, on the 8th of May, I came down into the kitchen in the morning and thought, gosh, I feel a little bit hot, feel a little bit nauseous. And for some strange reason, I looked at the kitchen floor and thought, gosh, that looks really cool. I really need to get on the kitchen floor to get my cheeks nice and cool. I don't know why. Anyway, I got down on the floor, laid down, and then I couldn't get back up. Shouted my husband, who came downstairs and saw my face, that my left side of my face had dropped, asked me to put my arms above my head, and I couldn't, and he said, I'm calling 999, and I told him not to be stupid. Thankfully he ignored me, and the first responder was there within 10 minutes, and the ambulance was there within 15, and I'd had a stroke. So off I was taken to Torbay Hospital, where they did a CT scan, and they found a blood clot on the right side of my brain. And after they'd done the CT scan, they whizzed me. They said that they wanted to airlift me to Bristol to have a thrombectomy. So I remember getting really excited and thinking, "Oh, I'm going in a helicopter." A thrombectomy is where they remove the blood clot from your brain.
Okay.
So they, because it's basically blocking the oxygen to your brain, and the brain cells are dying off while the blood clot's there. So speed is of the essence. Really, really. So they wanted to airlift me, obviously to get me there quicker. But then they decided it was too windy. So off we went up the M5 to Bristol. And what they do is they put like a wire in through your groin, and it goes all the way up through into your brain, and it took them 4 attempts to get the blood clot out. So I was in theatre for about 3 hours, and then I was in Bristol for 1 night, then taken back to Torbay for a week, and then they moved me to the stroke rehabilitation unit in Newton Abbot. So
how long was you there?
I was there for 3 weeks, so I was in hospital for a month. Yeah, and it's quite scary, because I don't think I realised how bad I was. And I remember at the time being taken to the gym every day, and you take it in a wheelchair. But I essentially had to learn to walk again. And the left side of my body was affected. So I mean, I wouldn't have been able to do that at all. I couldn't brush my hair. I couldn't Yeah, I mean, just being put in front of a table, and I had to pick like plastic, like children's kind of plastic toys up from one side of, and put them in a box. So lift them up, put them in a box, and it was physiotherapy, but I didn't realise kind of how important it was. And there's like practice stairs that you have to go up, and it was really difficult to get my leg up, and then eventually they arranged for me to have a home visit, and one of the physios said to me, the deal breaker will be, can you get up the stairs and can you get down the stairs, and if you can't, you'll be coming back to hospital. So I was just then on a mission, and I just, so the head occupational therapist came home with me, and sort of watched me go up the stairs, and I was so determined. I just thought, right, come on, and I did it, and so I stayed home. So thank God. But since then, I mean, I think it's so important to have a positive mental attitude. It's just that I think has been integral, and just being really determined. And I just thought, right, we're going to do everything we can to get well. So I contacted the physio. I've got a private physio who's just been amazing, and my self-care has gone like right up there. And I've had counselling, and I've had kinesiology. What else? I've just started working with a personal trainer to get my functional strength back. What else have I done? Osteopathy. I've worked with a nutritionalist. One of the side effects, which has been quite annoying, but is that it affected whatever part of the brain the blood clot was on is obviously linked to appetite and taste buds. So my taste has completely changed, and I don't have an appetite anymore. So if Chris says, what do you want for dinner? I have no idea, because I just don't.
There's nothing you ever
fancy. I can't
fancy.
imagine what it's going to taste like. Or and that's quite difficult, because we are really big foodies. I mean, we love going out for dinner. But I do believe everything, there is a silver lining. It's just sometimes you've just got to look that little bit harder to find it. And I've lost 2.5 stone without trying, really, because my appetite's just completely changed. So I just think, well, now I'm working with a personal trainer, I'm really getting fit, and it's quite bizarre. I did have some coaching as well, actually, which I'd encourage people to do. And she did say, she said, at one point you will be able to think about it as a gift. And I'm not there yet at all. But I do think, ironically, mentally and physically in the best shape that I've been for ages. And you've just got to kind of have that determination, and think about goals. And so a goal of mine next year is, we used to do, when we lived in Altrincham, because we were closer to the Lake District, we used to do quite a lot of walking. And there's they're not a mountain. Was it a mountain? I think it's a mountain, but British mountain, called Blencathra. And I've climbed it twice again. I've tried it twice before, and I do want to do it again. And it'll be blooming hard, but that's
and you will
going, just thinking, right, well, yeah.
And you will. Do you know what? That's incredible that something like that comes out of nowhere. Literally comes out of nowhere, smacks you in the face like that. And that was May. So what we now, June, July, August, September, October. 6 months ago, and you're here. You're here to tell the story, and you're here, fighting fit and going after what you want. I mean, that in itself is a massive achievement. Let alone everything you've come through. I just find it so inspiring. There's something, and you're right, when your attitude is everything, and I always blab on about positivity, but I have to, because it's so important, because as soon as I let that negative thought come in, and I'm all about thoughts, I say this most weeks, thoughts to feelings to actions to results. So depending on how we think, depends on how we feel. When we feel a certain way, be happy, sad, whatever, that's going to, transform the way, or that's going to create the way that we act, the action that we take. And depending on how we act or we don't act, depends on the results that we're going to get. So it all stems from our thinking. But I think we just completely overlook it. We just go, oh, we think negatively, and it's just we go into that spiral of negativity and comparison and needing and wanting. And that just takes over our whole life. So I think positivity is such an important thing. Working on your thinking is such an important thing. But one thing,
and I think it's also really important. I did this a lot, just because of, you know, how I realised how positivity was so important to actually get rid of any negativity that you can. You know, if you're following, I don't know, people on social media, I was in some Facebook groups, and I just thought, generally people just whinge and moan in this, and this is just not good. And it's just to have a bit of a cleanse and just think, hang on a minute, you don't want to be surrounding yourself with toxic people or bad social media things. You know, if you had a child who's asking you for advice, you know, how can I be happy, or how can I improve things, you're not going to say, well, you know, keep everybody around you, because, you know, you don't want to be friends with somebody who's not giving you joy, or is not supporting you, or you just need to kind of sometimes just have a step back and think, right, I just need to focus and surround myself with just positive people, encouraging things, follow encouraging people, delete various apps if they're, you know, if they're getting on your nerves, or you know, just what could you be doing? Could you be going out for a walk? Or
definitely
just filling your life with things that give you joy.
Yes, Jim Rohn, his quote is, you're one of the 5 people that you hang around with most, that are in your proximity most. And it's so true, whether that's your family, it could be family members, it could be friends, it could be just society, it could be your county, wherever it is that you're at. If you're not happy, have a look at what you do every single day and the people that you're engaging with every single day, because there's a good chance that them people are having an impact. In fact, it's not a good chance, it's fact, that those people and what you're doing is having an impact on how you're living your life. I'm always like, if you're inspiring to be something, or, you know, there's something that you want, look at the people who have got that, and surround yourself with people. It's not just about getting things, but I mean, if you look at someone and think they seem so positive and they seem so happy, and then look at what it is that they're doing and the people that they're surrounding themselves in and the things that they're doing, because that impacts your life massively. And one thing as well that I just wanted to touch on from what you said, when something presents itself, and I've had this many times throughout my life, and I've asked myself, why me? Why is this happening to me? I can't, you know, I feel like I can't deal with it. I can't cope with it. And I used to really dwell in that, you know. I used to really sit in that place and go like, why is this happening to me? And feel really frustrated and upset and angry and annoyed about it. But I got to a point, Zoe, and I started seeing it differently. So again, I changed the way I thought about it, and I said to myself, what is this teaching me? What is this here to teach me? Because I honestly believe everything that happens in our life happens because it's there to teach us something. It's there to put us or push us into a different direction. If we're doing something in our life and it feels really uncomfortable and it just doesn't feel right, 9 times out of 10 it isn't. It's there to show you what not to do, or what to do to overcome it, you know? So I think that's a great question to ask ourselves. What is this teaching me? And like you say, this whole 6 months and this complete whirlwind of I can only imagine to be chaos that you've been through. You're sat here now to tell the story, inspiring so many people in what you've overcome. And it must be the biggest life lesson that you've had so far. Am I
100%,
right?
Yeah, definitely. And it exactly that. It just kind of, you know, whatever reason I had a wake-up call, it was exactly that. And it's to just make you think, well, are you living your very best life? You know, there's only one of you, there's only one body. You know, are you treating that body as as well as you can be. You know, if
looking
you
after
bought
it.
like a brand new car, how would you treat it? You wouldn't put rubbish into it. You'd put the best petrol or whatever. You know, it's just about looking after yourself and making sure that you're still going to be here, and you're being the best version of you that you can be, mentally and physically.
Yes, and when you
And
are, do you know what? I love it, because when you are the best version of yourself, you have so much more that you can give to other people, right?
yeah,
You know,
yeah,
when you're knackered and tired, and like you said earlier, you're miserable and you're in a job that you hate and it's frustrating you, and you can't pull yourself out of bed in the morning because you literally just dread the day ahead. When you're in that place,
yeah,
how do you support or love, or, you know, if you've got kids or a partner or a husband or a wife or whatever, how do you support them? You can't, because you can't give from an empty cup, can you?
No, absolutely not. No. And it's just so important to remember that. And I just would, if anybody's feeling like that, please remember your self-care, because, you know, worst case scenario, God, I mean, if you're getting so stressed, I wasn't so stressed. Mine was actually a blood clot from, I have atrial fibrillation, which is a heart condition, which is fine. But it's just, you know, stress is just not good. It's really, really not good. And worst case scenario, something dramatic, like, you know, medically could happen to you. And you've just got to look after your body and you, because as you say, if you're a busy mum, wife, partner, whatever it is, if you've got your own business, who's going to look after everybody else if you're not able to look after yourself because you're poorly? So just to remember your self-care. And that might be, I'm not saying that it has to involve money. It can be literally something as easy as just going at lunchtime, having a proper break, sitting away from your desk, having something lovely to eat, and going for a walk and looking at leaves and, you know, or the tree, or look, if you live in a city, look up and see what's, you know, at the top of a building, or I don't know, just being a bit more mindful.
Yes.
And giving yourself a break, because we all need it.
Yes. I love it. So I'm just going to jump back to your business, because I'm keen to understand, like, you said why you got started. Is there any advice that you've been given throughout your business, like throughout your career, you know, of building your own business and starting your own business, or maybe before you started? Is there any advice that anyone gave you that you've sort of really held on tight to, that you'd want to offer to other people that are maybe in that position of just starting out or thinking of starting out?
I think it comes back to the sort of the maybe writing yourself a list of what you enjoy doing, and what would you imagine if you could do that every day and earn money from it. You know, just what would give you joy, and to just, it's not easy. I mean, it's, you know, anybody who started their own business, whether it's a company and you've got employees, or you're on your own, you know, it is definitely a bit of an up and down roller coaster, and some days you do wake up and think, whoa, it's too hard, I can't do it. But then you just think, no, hang on a minute, how many people have I helped this week? How many people have come to me because they've got migraines, or they're trying to get pregnant? And, you know, remember that WhatsApp that you got saying it's positive, you know, and somebody's done a pregnancy test, and you just think, you just got to hold on to the good things and just think, right, well, that's why I'm doing this. This is why I've invested all this money in courses and websites and, you know, whatever you've done, to just hold those up and think, that's why I'm doing it, and not lose sight of it.
Make the why so big that the how becomes so much easier, hey?
Yes, yeah, exactly.
Because I think when your why is big enough, there's a real depth to the reasons you're doing what you're doing. And that might be because you hate the boss that you have, and you don't want to be employed, and you want to have your own, you want the time freedom, and you want the financial freedom, rather than having this restricted sort of, you know, salary, or, you know, certain hours that you have to work. Have a reason as to why you want what it is that you want. So when you do hit these hard times, because we do, it's not all plain sailing, that's for sure. But
No.
I think that the positives certainly outweigh the negatives, and I do think as long
Yeah,
as you've got a reason as to why you're here doing what you're doing, exploring a new avenue or exploring a new idea, if that why is really deep and strong, you can fall back on that, and that will keep pulling you or pushing you through
definitely.
the tough
Yeah,
times. So
yeah,
what's next for you? You mentioned that you're looking at other ways of helping women. Would you mention maybe menopause and
yeah,
women that are going through that?
yeah. Um, it just struck me that when somebody comes to see me, I always have like a medical questionnaire that I go through with them to get a snapshot of you know what's happened to them, what their general health's like, what they sleep like, you know, what medication they're taking, and I realised with quite a lot of women, when I was chatting to them and going through the form, and I'd say about how you're sleeping, then so many of them were saying like, oh God, you know, I have like horrendous hot flushes, and started listing lots of menopausal symptoms. And I'd look at them and think, well, you know, age-wise, it's, you know, likely that you're going through that. And if I mentioned it, so many women just said, well, it's just the menopause, isn't it? It's just what happens. I'm just, you know, soldiering on. And I just said, but you don't need to soldier on. There's things
No.
that, you know, you can do. And there's that we can, you know, we can talk about, I don't know, food to eat, or
Mm,
supplements you can take, or
mm.
work on particular reflex points, and it actually helped a lot of women. And I just remember one woman in particular who's lovely, and she was just in tears in a session, and actually the first 35 minutes was just her crying because of what she was
Oh,
going through. And I thought, this is just awful. And so I
yes.
just thought this would be great to be able to sort of say that you specialise in women's health and menopause, for example. And so yes, I've done a menopause course with Barbara Scott, and it's just about working relevant reflex points and protocols incorporated into the routine, which actually work on reflex points associated with symptoms of the
Symptoms.
menopause. And
Wonderful.
reflexology, I mean, is just a lovely treatment anyway. It's just, you know, if there's nothing, there doesn't have to be anything wrong with you, in inverted commas, to come for a treatment. It's just a lovely self-care treatment
Yes.
to come for. And most people have a snooze, to be honest. So nice
Nice.
warm under a blanket and just relax, and some nice relaxing music on. And but if you can help people, then that's a double bonus, you know.
Yes.
So it was just to educate women to just say, don't put up with it, you know, don't soldier on. It's so, some of the symptoms are truly debilitating, especially if you are in a place of work where I don't know, you have to give up and get up and give presentations, and you know, you start having a hot flush, and you know, you're perspiring and your cheeks are really hot, and then you're really conscious about, you know, your clothes, and it's just uncomfortable, and it's you shouldn't have to put up with that. So
No.
I'm just trying to say, yes, I can help, and please come and see me.
That's amazing. That's amazing. And do you know
So
what?
yeah,
That's such a good lesson in just what you said. You know, finding a need. You found a need. You
yeah,
through
yeah,
speaking and listening to your clientele already, you found a way in that you can help people, and people
yeah,
need help. So
they do.
that's the best business
Yeah,
model in itself. Look at you know,
yes,
find someone that you want to serve, and I mean, what I mean by that is someone that you believe you can help, be it women or men or children or whatever.
yeah,
Find someone
yeah,
that that you want to serve, and find what it is that they're struggling with, and then help
yeah,
them overcome that problem.
yeah,
Be there to support them through
yeah,
that problem. That's a business model in itself.
absolutely, yeah, yeah.
Wonderful.
So
Zoe,
I
you've
do
been
really see
amazing.
that. Yeah.
I love that. I
Oh,
love the
thank
sound of
you.
it. You've been amazing. If people want to contact you and hear a bit more about what it is that you do and how maybe you can support and help them, what's the best way for them to get hold of you?
Um, well, I'm on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, but the easiest thing is probably my website. So it's www.relaxingreflexology.com. And my treatment room is at the Hen House in Kingsbridge. And I'm going back to work on the 5th of January.
Wonderful. I
And
love
I'll be
it.
there on Wednesdays and Thursdays. So you can just drop me a line, and I'd love to hear from you.
Brilliant. Well, thank you so, so much, Zoe. You've
Thank you,
been
Emma.
amazing. Thank you
Thank
for
you.
being on the podcast, and we'll catch up with you real soon. You take care.
Thank you, Emma.
See you later.
And you. See you later.
Bye.
Bye.